Hi and welcome back to my channel, and if it's your first time here, welcome. My name's Simone. So today I'm going to talk about the dry socket that I had. I'm assuming that if you're here you want to find out information on it and what you can do with it, how long does it take to heal and things like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put down some articles, what I've read down below, maybe some YouTube videos to give you more information. Quick disclaimer, I'm not a dentist, so I'm not a health professional. I'm just making this video purely for informational purposes and what happened with me. And also I would say, if you do suspect that you have a dry socket, and if, like on the thumbnail, that's my mouth, so if you have a big hole and you can see a bone, get in touch with your dentist straight away to get it sorted out. So like I said, yeah, quick disclaimer, it's just, this video is just for informational purposes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave like little timestamp things, so if you're here just to hear my story, or you want to find out like usually how long it takes to heal and things like that, then I'll try to put timestamps on the little bar thing or in the description so that you can check it out. And if you have any questions, then please leave them down below. So with me, my dry socket happened 3 years ago. And what a dry socket is, if you don't know, is when you get a tooth extracted, a blood clot usually forms, and then so all the healing starts to take place and bone starts to form and everything, and there's no smell. You might have a bit of pain like the first few days, but this blood clot, like all tissue starts to regenerate and everything, and usually around about 7 to 10 days that wound is like closed, the extraction site. So with a dry socket, the blood clot might not have formed, or it might have got dislodged, and then you can see like just a hole, like it's dry in there. And like I said, you might be able to see a bit of bone. You can have pain resonating all down your face and your ear, and the smell, with me it was horrible. It can really smell. So they are like some of the telltale signs that you've got a dry socket. And you know, some websites might say that you can do self remedies and things like that, but I would get in touch with the dentist immediately. That's what I did. So I've got the Healthline website open here as well. So it's just talking about it being a common complication, and this risk is present until you've fully healed, which takes 7 to 10 days. It might not have formed, or it could be accidentally removed or never formed in the first place. So there are some risks. Like I think you've got more chance of getting a dry socket if you smoke, if you're on oral contraception, and also if you've had a tooth removed and it's been quite, you know, they've struggled to get it out. It's been quite, you know, quite a bit of trauma. I think that's what happened with me, because it did take a long time for them to get that tooth out. So I'm just having a look how to identify it. So without a blood clot over your socket, raw tissue, nerve endings and bones are exposed, and this can be really painful. So yeah, so all of the things that I said, and the smell, that can be a sign of an infection. So it's really important to try and get it sorted out, because you don't want that infection spreading to your jawbone. Yeah, so what happened with me was I'd had a root canal in 2 teeth here, and this tooth, it had a filling in it, and the filling was starting to come away, and literally there was hardly any tooth like visible at, you know, at the top. So I had done a bit of research, and I just wanted to get this tooth out, and I wasn't having like loads of pain or anything, and the dentist was wondering why I wanted the tooth out. But what was funny was when he removed the tooth, he'd done an x-ray, and he said that there was an underlying infection. So I was wondering, like, if there'd been an underlying infection, how long had it been there for, and was that, you know, was that compromising my immune system? I've not done any extra research into that, so that's for another video. Hi Micah. Yeah, so we took the tooth out, and because it wouldn't just come out just in one, he had to like go in and like cut it up basically, and pull pieces of the tooth out. And he said to me that a blood clot's not formed. I think he was hoping that it would, but it didn't. I went home that night, had a couple of painkillers, got up in the morning, and there was no blood clot there. I could see the bone, like I said. the smell was really bad, and I was starting to get pain that was coming up here. I wasn't feeling sick or anything like that, or having any chills. That can be like some of the side effects as well. I think it says dry socket pain usually starts a few days after surgery. Call your doctor if your pain suddenly increases, you develop fever, nausea or vomiting. So I didn't have any of that, but I did ring them the following day. I tried to make sure that I was only having like, you know, drinks, not with a straw, like soup and things like that, and staying away from there because I didn't want anything to get stuck in it. So they told me to come in, and then you know that smell that you smell usually at a dentist, it's EUGENOL, which is made out of cloves. So this is what they use a lot in dentists, and in my case what they did was he cleaned it out to make sure that there was no food debris or anything like that, and then he got this gauze, and I think it had been soaked in EUGENOL, and then he packed it into the tooth, and immediately there was like no pain, and the smell, there was no more smell, thankfully. So looking back, I mean, it's like 3 years now, but this, he didn't tell me to take it out or anything like that. I just left it, and I tried my best to, you know, when I was eating, not get anything near there. I mean, obviously there was some times that little bits of food would come in, so I would try to gently just remove it like from the top of it, which is not obviously really easy to do, but there was no pain. And then this gauze, I would say that it probably like stayed in for about 3 or 4 days, and then it kind of like, it just, like I said, it's really hard for me to try and remember everything, but it kind of just like came out. And then what I was left with, I was really worried because there was still like a huge hole, and I thought, right, what's gonna happen? Like I said, it wasn't smelling. The bone, I don't know whether it was still exposed or not, but there was definitely, it was still like a hole, and I was thinking, right, is a blood clot gonna form or what? And it's only later on that I found out that, say like when you have a blood clot, the tissue and everything starts to like amalgamate with that and starts to heal underneath. But when you've got a dry socket, like, it's really weird, but over time you start seeing kind of like, it looks like tissue is starting to grow. If I can try and find a photo or something to show you, then I will do. But it just starts to like slowly like close. But in my case, it took about a month fully for it to close. And like food, obviously you're eating and little bits of food would get stuck in there, but I would just constantly have like water just to swiggle it around and clean it out by that stage when it started to heal. And then, like I said, probably around about a month after is when it had totally closed. But as I was saying before, I was reading that it can take a total of about 4 months for all the bone like formation and everything like to come back. So it was saying on the health line that for most people they feel better after a week from it. So in my case, I wasn't feeling any pain or anything immediately after I had the gauze put in, but it did just take time for it to fully heal. But I suppose even with a normal tooth extraction, it's gonna, and if blood clots formed, it's still gonna take time for it to heal. It's worth noting as well that if you've had dry socket once, if you go and get another tooth taken out at a later date, it's more than likely to happen again. So it's worth telling your dentist, in case, you know, you're going to a different dentist and they don't have your notes, that you have had dry socket before. Possible complications that can come from dry socket. I mean, it says it's rare that this happens, but it can include delayed healing, infection in the socket, and infection that spreads to the bone. So yeah, I hope that you found this video useful, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're new here, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. Bye. Yeah, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.